So we're coming off the win in Georgia of the Democrats of John Ossoff and Reverend Raphael Warnock. And I decided, in any other video I could have done this, but especially the one I did on Tuesday. And thank you to those who watched. But I decided to do an analysis like others have of why this happened. Why did Republicans lose this? And you really have to think, in Georgia, these Republicans should have won. Any other time, any other Georgia runoff, Republicans come out in full swing. They come out in great numbers. And they demolish the Democrats every single time. Why did they lose? Well, and why did Democrats pull off a major upset? Well, the answer is Trump and Mitch McConnell. That's the number one answer. And the number two answer is Democrats actually ran on something. So first off, Trump. The one thing that you got to remember is that, and I covered this on my podcast, and if you're new, thank you for subscribing. You're going to want to check that out because I covered that. And I'll post a couple, maybe one or two videos of what I covered here in the description, so you can check it out. But if you remember, Lynn Wood and Sidney Powell came out and said, "Don't vote. It's rigged. It's corrupt. Don't vote. Makes no sense. They rigged this election. Unless the legislature comes out and overturns this election, you don't go vote." And Trump also saying like, "Oh, this election is corrupt. This election needs to be overturned. It's all rigged. Dominion machines are rigged. This is all wrong and corrupt." It really kind of suppressed their own vote because Republicans were thinking, well, hell, why am I going to go vote if this damn election is just going to be rigged anyway? Now, we have to remember that Trump tried to do that $2,000 check thing. He wasn't in the negotiations when they came up with that measly, dumb, terrible $600 payment, right? But what he did do was come out of the shadows, out of his McDonald's bag and out of the bunker, because he's bunker boy, and said, "I want $2,000 checks." And unlike other times where Democrats don't know what the heck they're doing, Nancy Pelosi called his bluff and said, "Here, Donnie, okay, hell, I'll pass it right now." Passed, went to the Senate, and this is where Mitch McConnell comes in. Mitch McConnell refused to do anything. Mitch McConnell made a bet that, I'll bundle the Section 230, legislation, which reform, which is for big tech companies to help them out, and this $2,000 check legislation or amendment, and give Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue talking points to say, look, they would have voted for it, they supported it, but he didn't actually pass it, and he withheld it. And this is where Trump messed up, where he didn't present an all-out war on Mitch McConnell and put him in a tight corner where, hey, if you don't do this, you're screwed for the rest of your life. And he didn't do that. He didn't come after Mitch McConnell. So that contributed to the loss. And now this is where Democrats did amazing because, now before I go on with that, remember how Nancy Pelosi did the same thing with the stimulus checks where she said, I don't really want to do a stimulus check because Trump wants to put his name on it, and Trump wants to do it lower, and Trump wants a victory. I don't want to give it to him because he's going to get elected again. And that hurt the Democrats. They lost so many seats in the House. They lost so many gubernatorial seats and everywhere else in the general election. So that backfired miserably and spectacularly on Nancy Pelosi. And I don't know why progressives made her speaker again. But anyway, Mitch McConnell did this same thing where his bet backfired, and now he lost the Senate. Okay, good going, Mitch. Good going. And now he's going to be minority leader? If I was a Republican Party, I probably wouldn't do that, but pretty much what's going to happen anyway. The Democrats, John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, did incredible on this issue. What the Democrats did, and if you look at Raphael Warnock's messaging where he said, hey, you help me, you may get a $2,000 check. I'll help you get a $2,000 check. They put that in the center. $2,000 during a pandemic. How much would you need that? How I could help you get that. Ossoff and Warnock did the same thing. And I think that's the best part. That's what you have to do as a Democrat, is run on something. Run on something. You run on, hey, Republicans refuse to give you $2,000. Look, we tried. We passed it. You're going to win. You're going to win. Now, another thing I love about Jon Ossoff's ads. Now, look, he's not a progressive by any means. He's actually more right-wing than people think. But what he did was he started running ads of him going to hospitals saying, what do you need? What can I do for you? What should I be doing when I walk into those Senate doors? When I walk onto the floor of the Senate, what should I be doing? And they're like, update our hospitals, upgrade us, pay us more, get us more staff, get us more beds, more ventilators, more this, more that. He said, okay. And that was aired. And then he started airing ads with modern music and saying David Perdue was stock trading, insider trading, and made himself wealthy, and you guys died, and you guys lost your livelihoods, your healthcare, your jobs, your homes, whatever. He did that. And Raphael Warnock, kind of did the same thing a little bit. Now, actually quite a bit. Now, he also, Republicans tried attacking him for advocating for socialized medicine and saying that war is bad and America should repent for the Iraq war. They tried attacking him for that. I'm like, oh, he said war is bad and healthcare is good. And it backfired spectacularly because people are like, well, hell yeah, healthcare is good. I don't want premiums, co-payments, and deductibles. And I don't want the pharmaceutical insurance companies to be price gouging me. And I don't want to go to war for no freaking reason. No stupid reason. Yeah. Oops. Oops, right wing. Oops. And now, let's take a look at this. 19 of the reddest counties in Georgia, 19 of the most right-wing Republican conservative counties came out, but it was 82 to 90% of what they experienced in November. While those numbers are great, you had Democrats coming out in full swing. You had the WNBA team that Kelly Loeffler owns and is now possibly going to be losing it, donning Vote Warnock or Vote for Warnock t-shirts. I mean, come on, they rocked them. And then, the other thing too is attacking a black man who's giving a sermon in a predominantly black church and a famed church which MLK presided in and preached in and led. Okay, well that's a political suicide right there, right? So that brought out the minority votes. Hispanics came out in full swing there, as little as there are there. The black community came out in full swing, and that's where I think Jon Ossoff even got more help because they loved Warnock. They liked what Ossoff was saying, but they needed Warnock to kind of give them the go-ahead, and they came out for Ossoff. Now look, like Fulton County and others that came out for Ossoff, they're all most of them are predominantly white. But guess what? This is, and I'm not even done. There's so much more to go into, but that's what helped these two men win and go to the Senate, and which helped get rid of David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler. Ah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I'll tell you guys right now that that's what got them to, all of this crap that Trump pulled, that the grifters pulled, that Mitch McConnell pulled, that them going after Raphael Warnock's old sermons. I mean, Kelly Loeffler was just the most emotionless candidate ever, right? Like, this is what happens when you have that kind of candidate. This is what happens. So, that is my analysis, and if I have any more, I will have another one on Raphael Warnock. But this is what happened, and when you have the two most corrupt people, a billionaire who migrated to the South, tried playing Southerner for 3 weeks, bought her seat from the governor of Georgia for $2 million, and then got herself rich in the pandemic. And David Perdue, the same thing, who's also the CEO of Dollar General. Like, these are two cartoonishly corrupt people, and it's like, they saw right through that. They saw right through their bogus ads, and this is the first time Democrats ran on something, and I hope this is a lesson that they can take. And that is pretty much why I think, and what a lot of people are saying, won the Democrats the election. And don't believe any right-winger who says that this election was rigged. No, the only thing that was bad is that Republicans fell apart. They had terrible strategies, and it's glorious to see.